debt is here to stay. Let me start.
Yes.
Debt is here to stay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, many people borrow blindly. Many people today are trapped in debt more than they can care to admit. All right? Now, one of the reasons why people get trapped in debt is borrowing blunders. One of the borrowing blunders is what I call ability-driven borrowing. I came up with two types of borrowings. There is ability-driven borrowing, which is the most famous for many people, and there is purpose-driven borrowing, which is the ideal approach to borrowing. So hawa wase tunasema they borrow because they qualify, ndio hawa wase wa ability-driven. So usually when they know they can access some loan, some funds, ndio wana borrow. Macheki. How to know them? Kama ni msako na payslip, when they go to the bank, you will see them check out their payslip, anarushia banka. Hey, niangalilie how much I can qualify. Banka anachapa mahesabu, anamwambia 100,000, nipea form. 200,000, nipea form. 1 million, nipea form. What took you to the lender is the question I keep asking. Okay? And that is dangerous because you end up having money in your hands that you had no plan for.
Yes.
And that's a very serious blunder in the world of money, because your mind only needs 10 minutes to figure out how it will use any amount of money.
10 minutes.
Saizi nikisema nakupatia 100,000, I just need to whistle here, stroll 10 minutes, come back, utakuosha ni break ya down. Nikibaluni kwe mita moja, the same 10 minutes, nikirudi hivi utakuosha ni break ya down, how that will happen. So that's a big blunder. Many people today borrow because they qualify or because there is a willing lender, and that is a serious blunder.
Okay. To summarize what you have said, debt is here to stay. So in short, debt is oxygen.
Not really oxygen. Money is next to oxygen.
Can you live without debt?
Yes,
totally debt free?
Yes, you can.
What are the implications of that?
You see, different people value different things. There's someone who values their peace of mind. Sa zile si tunaongea stories za ambition, how you can use debt to do this and the other. Yeah, ako zile za, hey, mimi na madeni, hapana. And I've met such people in my coaching life.
For peace of mind? For
peace of mind. They are not as ambitious as you would want to be. So them, they will live within their means. Yeah. They will do only that which their money can do or that which they can save to do.
Okay.
The only unfortunate thing is that sometimes some of what we call big ticket items may not be practical for you to save until you're able to acquire them. All right? Because even as you're saving, probably their prices are also increasing. So probably you're just chasing air. Okay? You may never get an opportunity to save until ukona do kama ya hiyo. For example,
building a house.
Kama nyumba, yes. So maybe una target how ya hata 2 million. Na salo yako for example ni 50k for example. Alafu sasa uanze kusave. Tuseme tu una save 10k per month. Unaona hizo ni miezi ngapi utakuwa umesave ndo ifike 2 million ya either kubuy hiyo hao ama kujenga. You get. So what I usually say is that if you must use debt, then you need to learn how debt works. You need to master how debt works, right, before you swim into it. So unfortunately, wase wengi huchoma vidole, sometimes even for very good intentions. Kuna msee anaweza chukua loan for example ya kujenga nyumba. That sounds like a very beautiful reason, isn't it? Akikuja tuambie hapa, anza nimechukua loan ya kujenga hao, unajua tutampigia makofi because that reason sounds serious in our eyes, isn't it? But there are certain blunders you can also make while you are borrowing for a very serious reason, na pia ujikute kwa trouble. Unacheki. For example, many people fail to ask, hii don nitakatwa ya hii loan ilikuwa inafanya nini kwa budget yangu? So you are earning 50k for example, na ulikuwa una spend coin to coin. Probably hata hukuwa una save, isn't it? Now, you have been told you can qualify for a loan that will be paid at say 15,000 per month. Wewe umeona umequalify, sivyo? Then you borrow that loan and you've not asked yourself what was the 15k doing. So many people will go even for the mortgage. Wapate hao, wamefurahi. It looks like a very brilliant idea, waingie. Then they forgot to ask themselves how they will survive post the borrowing, when deductions are loaded. So wakati deductions zinalodiwa, that's when now many people get shocked, because whatever has remained probably is not enough to sustain them. So unapata mse kama huyo amejikuta sasa kwa borrowing from Shylocks na vitu kaa hizo, because asha exhaust limit yake kwa mainstream lenders. So inabidi ndio run life yake ajikute kwa ile world ingine. You get? So then ile world ingine ni expensive, sivyo? Now you become a perennial borrower of short-term debt, because now you constantly have a deficit. So huyu mse anaanza kuchoma vidole, because every month anaenda akikuwa deeper and deeper into the mess of borrowing. Yet the original intention was very good, very, very good. So those are some of the things we just need to think about.
So umesema most of the people who don't borrow ni because of peace of mind?
Yeah, peace of mind na fear. Wengine
peace of mind na fear.
Mm.
So inaweza kuwa zero work kama hauboro na uko na baby mama. Because either way umesema baby daddy, because either way umesubstitute peace of mind. You're looking for peace of mind somewhere.
Na pia
looking for violence somewhere else. Aya. Na inaitwa, before we talk about how to escape the trap, especially kwa mtu ashajifix, and then now they wanaenda kwa perennial borrowing. What do you say about the spirit here, if you perish, you perish?
My friend.
Because I'm asking that because I have a friend mwenye si tusema ule msee anajiaminingi because alijiamini hivyo, loan ikamnyonga, sasa ako na shamba mbili, plots mbili, akajiamini tena na loan ikamnyonga karibu akufe. He paid up his car. So inakuwa sawa, ni fear, confidence, ndio? So what about the people who go na hiyo, if you perish, you perish. You borrow, unafanya kitu unataka, kesi baadaye tukutane after 4 years.
Wow. Inaweza enda both ways. Kuna wale watu wa if you perish, you perish, but vitu wanafanya ni vitu ziko na likelihood ya kuwajenga. Okay, na kuna wase wa if you perish, you perish, na vitu wanafanya ni za kutesa. Okay, so kuna mse wa if you perish, you perish, na anachukua consumer debt. Consumer debt ni debt ya kutesa, debt ya kubai unga, hizo story. So you see, when you borrow for consumption, you are telling the world two things. One is that you're not able to live within your means. Then two, you are eating your tomorrow today. Na wase wengi sana wanakula kesho yao leo. Unacheki before end month come, kuna wase wengi sana wako zile za boss ni sort, salo ikikam nitakusort. Unaget? So they are eating that salary. Remember, that salary is supposed to come and take care of them for the coming period. But sasa before it come, wase wanakuwa washaimaliza. That's why I have also said that these days, payday is one of the most stressful days for many people. Unajua, a long time ago, payday used to be a very beautiful day. People used to look forward to payday. Salo itakam lini, because lives used to change on payday. Food data ilikuwa ina change. Okay, kuna wase nyama kwao inapatikana payday, vitu kaa hizo. But I want you to help me to check. These days, payday is usually one of the most stressful days. Kwizo mahesabu ndo wase wanachapa. Everyone has converted themselves into accountants. Wajua ingia klasi ya CPA. But hiyo siku ndo kila mse ameshika kalamu na karatasi, vitu mahesabu hazingiani. Na una mse ameandika list ya wale watu waliambia salo ikikam nitakusort. So amechora hiyo list. So akipiga hesabu total imeshinda salo imekam. Na una huyo mse akirudi juu anaanza kupunguza. Mazeni wapatia half. Anachapa total, inakataa. Huyo msa anarudi anaanza kurationalize. I think huyu msa anaweza kubali nisimpe hii month, nimpatie next month. So alafu anasema lakini Johnny hawezi kubali. Johnny yake lazima alipwe yote. Unacheki? So those are the calculations that are going on in people's minds. Juu walikula hiyo kesho leo. Unaget? So mse kama huyo ni kaende lakini unaona sasa kanaenda wapi?
Kujifix kabisa.
Alafu kuna huyu mse wa ka investment. Ameangalia, akajifunika macho, akasema kaende, akaenda hivyo. Inategemea na circumstances zake. Kwa kitu kakijipa anaweza kama amalize kulipa. Mwingine kanaweza kaende isijipe, hiyo loan pia imnyonge, na imnyonge sasa ya ukweli. Unacheki wako ilimnyonga ikamwachilia. Sasa kuna mwingine inamnyonga ya ukweli.
Tuachane na hiyo jina kunyonga. So, na how does one escape that trap?
The trap of debt. Yeah. Wow. It's a
especially
process.
Mtu ashajifix. Kuna jama anaitwa Dave Ramsey, niliangalia one of his sciences and people dispute this a lot, ni the debt avalanche.
Yes.
Sijui kama debt avalanche ni ile ya unaangalia deni kubwa kubwa unanok hizo zote kwanza ama unanok kidogo kidogo hizi ndogo mpaka ufike kubwa. What's the most effective way to get out?
Before nikuja hapo, and Dave is a great guy kwa hizo ma conversations zetu,
but very disputed.
Of course lazima utakuwa na controversy hapa na pale kidogo.
Yes.
Now first, breaking free from the trap of debt is a process. I came up with a formula naita ADSA 4-stage approach to breaking free from the trap of debt. ADSA. Okay. The first A is acceptance. You can never solve a problem whose existence you still deny. So ukipata mse ambaye you're still borrowing to make a statement, you're still in denial. You're still borrowing so that they can see, you're still in denial. You're still blaming others for where you are, you're still in denial. So the starting point is for you to accept that you are responsible for what has happened to you, that you are the best person to make amends, if any, that it is going to be a journey, it is doable. For people like us, ukisikia nikikwambia it is doable, please believe it's doable. Some of us would not even have moral authority to speak about this, but here we are, coaching and teaching and telling people about this, because I have lived in that trap myself. Mara nyingi nimesema kwa limelight, I'm still looking for my match in terms of financial recklessness. Mimi nilinasua na hii kitu mpaka depths zile unimaginable. By the time I was starting to work on myself, I was owing not 10, not 20, not 30, not 50. There are records. I was owing a record 86 lenders. If you can beat that record, tunaweza kunywa coffee.
86 lenders?
Yes, 86 lenders.
Okay.
So the journey of breaking
Baka wale wa kukall mother-in-law.
What? All right. So the first A is acceptance. The D is disclosure. You cannot effectively climb out of a hole if you don't take a moment to appreciate the depth of the hole. So hii step ya pili ndo ile homework mi upeana. And a home, kaa chini na kalamu na karatasi, do a list of everyone you owe. Bank, institutions zingine, SACCOs, what have you, individuals, hadi airtime advance. That's part of your debt.
That's very specific.
Okay.
Yeah, promising to marry someone is a debt.
So that is D. Most times I realized the average person is not comfortable doing a list of the people they owe. Tunaweza andika list ya pesa tunatarajia, list ya investment tunataka kufanya, but we forget to do a list of the people we owe. So ukiandika hiyo list, most times it shocks people. Most times mse huanza kujiongelesha. So wakati nilifanya disclosure yangu is the day I had received a trophy. By the way, I'm the only award-winning borrower this side of the world. I hold a very expensive trophy.
Award-winning?
Yes.
Okay.
I hold a very expensive trophy that was given to me by one of my Shylocks for being the most trustworthy borrower and for continued business. If you know who Shylocks are, I leave it to you to imagine Shylock mgani na akili mzuri anaweza amua kuinvest, kuspend dough ya job kuaward mse.
Okay.
So I leave it to you to imagine how much business I've given them. But the day I did my list and I saw 86, that is the day macho yangu saa ilianza, we boss, sijai imagine niko kwa mess, kwa ngori kiasi hii. Because usually the average eye will rush to the big numbers. Ukiuliza mse, uko na madeni ngapi? Mse ukumbuka, ile kubwa kubwa. But go home and do a list. Many times you'll be shocked. So that is the D. Then there is the S. Now the strategy. The strategic stage. Ukishaona hiyo list, so what? Where do you start from? Na hapo ndo hiyo swali yako sasa inaingililia. Now at the strategic stage, we don't have a one size fit all kind of solution. All right? Because different people are surrounded by different circumstances. So, and that's now what I do at the debt clinic when I sit one-on-one with you to get to know how your circumstances look like. But now for purposes of this conversation, kuna vitu kadhaa mse anaweza fanya. For example, you can reach out to your lenders. Unajua, normally when things are thick, the default ni utoroke lenders. That's why wanapiga simu mse ashiki, anatuma my excuse messages, I'm in church, call you back. 2 weeks down the line, mse hajai piga simu. Huyu jamaa anashindwa, 2 weeks kwani ulienda kwa benches kwa church ama
si yako kwa milima
pengine labda unacheki. So you can reach out to your lenders. The psychology of lending is such that every lender feels comfortable knowing you have their interests at heart. Okay? Then as you reach out to them, you can choose to renegotiate the terms of your debt. Depending na venye situation yako imechange, na depending pia who lender ni nani, maybe before you were able to repay at 10,000, whichever loan. Saizi situation imekuwa tight, pengine salary imereduce ama umelose job. Una reach out, una explain hizo story. Maybe leo uko only able to pay 4,000. Reach out and say, hey, najua unatarajia 10k, but I'm only able to do 4. Nitume ama, you'll be surprised many lenders will encourage you to send, tuendeleange kuongea at least kakitu kakikam. Who wants their money to be out forever? Another thing you can do is to look at your budget. Check your budget. You ask yourself, where does my money go? Wase wengi wajuangi pesa yao huenda wapi? That's the most difficult question. In the world of money, the biggest challenge usually is not even making money. Wase wengi hujaribu kumake dough. But shida kubwa ya utokea, can you control where your money will go? So ukijikuta kwa ngori ya madeni, one of the things you can do is to also monitor how you've been spending money. Through that, you might discover kuna vitu unaweza pause. Useme, hey, wacha hii tulie kwanza, ni deal na hii situation, nikimaliza, pengine nitaendelea nayo. Pengine nikauraibu fulani. Ama some things you might actually stop. Unaweza, ukiangalia venye umespendo, unaweza sema, mazee, wacha basi itoshe. Unacheki. So look at your budget. Check it and see whether it can release something small. Then, you can also consolidate. Umeboro loans nyingi kutoka kwa watu wengi, like where I was. Consolidation is where you find one cheaper debt. The word is cheaper because it does not make sense uchukue loan ingine expensive ujaribu kukuja kuzima zingine. So consolidation is where you pick a bigger one and come and neutralize a number of them. That helped me to bring the 86 number down faster.
86 lenders, ulikuwa unaowe pesa ngapi in total?
Milioni kadhaa. I will not mention. Yes, but mamita kadhaa.
Mita kadhaa. So with those strategies, as a preliminary conversation, because I believe this is a first of many,
yes,
someone is able to come out of the trap effectively.
Na ni safari. You see, like, my journey took 3 years for me to regain control.
Okay.
Control does not mean I've cleared the debt. Control means sasa naweza tembea kwa hizi streets bila kubabaika ati nitakutana na wewe na niko na deni yako, because we are now on the same page. Nilikuwa mpaka naweka diary zile za nimeongea na Kingori, tumesema tuta review after 2 months, because if I don't write, wakati Peter ata call nita confuse nimpatie story ya Kingori. Unacheki, that's how bad it was.
Okay.
So ni job.
Okay.
But it's doable.
Wapi makofi ya Roy? Asante sana. I believe amesema kitu inaweza saidia mahali, si ndio? Sana sana tujakava wale wasi hawana job, alafu unapata text ya you qualify for this much. Utalala njaa na unaona you qualify for 2,000. Like seriously, that's a very hard decision to make.
Yes, sure, it's a very hard
decision. It makes
decision.
it even easier kuliko kucall msee, nisaidie na thao hapo na unaweza qualify for 5,000. How do you rise above such a temptation? Can we set that up for the next conversation?
I think so.
Inaweza ama iwezi? Wazi. Asante sana for coming.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Asante sana. That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.